I'm very positive about them. Again, they're not going to. We're not talking about winning the Super Bowl here. I'm not even talking about making the playoffs. I just think they're going to be tangibly better. I think they're going to take a big step forward this year. Well, now David has something interesting because, as luck would have it, other people seem to agree. David, do you want to take the lead on this with this report from, what is it? Is it Caesars, I believe, is the sports book?
Yeah, it's from Caesars. I was on Twitter this morning trying to do some things and find some stuff. And, Max Meyer tweeted this out from Caesars that the most popular NFL wager in July is the Lions over 6 wins. And then he adds, Dan Campbell has also drawn the most money overall to win Coach of the Year, and D'Andre Swift, your guy, Mike, has drawn the most money overall to lead the NFL in rushing yards.
This just tells me that a bunch of people heard this, ran to their phones, called their bookies, and put a ton of money down on D'Andre Swift based off of everything that Mike said. Rieger sent that to me, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This cannot be real.
Weren't we just talking about yesterday, though? You were talking about how Vegas must know something with these numbers. Well, maybe D'Andre Swift could lead the league in rushing.
Kenny, that's not Vegas giving the best odds. It's people putting money on D'Andre Swift. Remember this. Vegas, recession-proof. Big buildings go up all the time out there. New restaurants all the time. Why? Because of bets like this. You do realize in order for him to lead the league in rushing, he's probably going to have to get to a minimum 1,500 yards. That's low.
That one I thought was the crazy out of the bunch, by the way. I thought the 6 wins was like, yeah, that's doable. The Campbell one I think is preposterous, and the D'Andre Swift one I think is a little bit much.
So it's not like Vegas gave him the best odds of doing it?
No.
Because I'm like, wait, Derrick Henry, like there's so many other people that you would think he would have to average over 100 yards a game or close to that. That's something that Lion running backs don't do. Plus, in order to do that, you got to be the bell cow. You're the only back. You get the ball 20 to 30 times a game. He shares the carries in the backfield. But hey, Mike, you spoke and the people listen.
But here's the question. Of the 3 things, which is most likely? Is it the Lions to go over 6.5? Is it Dan Campbell being in consideration or winning Coach of the Year? Or is it D'Andre Swift having an incredible individual season? Look, they all kind of go hand in hand. I don't think there's a scenario where D'Andre Swift is not excellent, where the team wins a lot of games. And there's no scenario where if they don't go over 6.5, where Dan Campbell would be considered for the award. But you got to remember something. I mean, yes, Coach of the Year is generally reserved for someone who goes 14-3, but what if the Lions have a touch of Cincinnati Bengals to it? And what if they go 8-9? What if they're fighting for a playoff spot in the last 2 weeks? It's not out of bounds to think that Dan Campbell could be.
In order for Dan Campbell to get there, Mike, I think the magic number is 11, because then you're not on that, 8-9. This now means that you won a lot of games that you weren't supposed to win. You took a team from last to legitimate. Not saying first.
Right, but just be in the mix.
But you're legitimate. And, okay, wow, there's an 8-game difference from last season. That would put them in the mix. I think in order, you got a better chance of going over the 6.5. Campbell winning Coach of the Year. And I'm sorry, your boy Swift.
The slander on Swift is amazing.
Come over.
Golly.
He would have to rush for 1,800 yards.
Yeah,
He would have to be the only back, and he's not the only back.
No, I think part of it is you can have a timeshare like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in Cleveland. That would be the comparative for me. I mean, what did Nick Chubb have last year? So I would have to pull it up. And no, leading the league in rushing, it's probably the least likely.
So, yeah, I mean, if him and somebody else had like 1,200 yards apiece.
I'll tell you what Swift could lead the league in. Just total yards. He could lead the league in total yards. He could end up with 300 touches and 1,700 or 1,800 total yards. Receiving, rushing, all in, the whole deal. He could do that. I'm serious. Now, you're right. He's got to stay healthy. He only primarily played in 12 games last year. Game 13, I think he had 2 carries. So you're right. He's got to do something he's never done. But look, if I make the case, hey, Dalvin Cook is going to lead the league in rushing, you're going to look at that and go, okay. But then the first thing out of my mouth could be, he's never played a complete season. Dalvin Cook's been hurt every year. So, hey, you're right. The Swift thing, probably the lowest of the 3. I think if Dan Campbell, he's already gotten a rep, some buzz. People find him interesting. That's part of the narrative. And if Dan Campbell starts winning some games, nothing crazy, but if they're 500 at Thanksgiving, they're a story. So, yes, I think that is second on the list. My tops is I still think it's the best bet. That they go over 6.5, that they do win 7 games. They do win 8 games this year. I believe that. And if they don't, I guess my level of embarrassment would be how far short do they fall?
Nick Chubb,
1259.
Yeah, 12:59.
Rushing.
Second. But Jonathan Taylor won by a mile.
No doubt.
It's kind of like their horse race.
No doubt. And again, there's absolutely no guarantee Jonathan Taylor ever approaches that again. It's really hard to have seasons like that in the NFL. So if we accept 1,300 yards as leading the league, that's a lot more palatable to what we're discussing. I could see him rushing for 1,300 yards and 500 yards receiving.
Right, but then, what if Jonathan Taylor runs this back? I mean, he was 1,800 yards.
Right. Well, then guess what? I lose. But I just still believe, okay, if Swift doesn't hit it, fine. If Campbell's not considered, fine. I still believe this football team goes over. So, hey, man, it's really interesting that
I'll give you the over. Campbell.
I know.
Campbell's team has to be special. 11, 12 wins.
David, NFL Coach of the Year. I wonder what the fewest wins an NFL Coach of the Year has gotten in, and when I say recent, I would say 10 to 15 years. What is the minimum number of wins you need to win that award in the National Football League? We've seen MVPs in baseball on last place teams. You see some oddities here or there. I'm sure Kenny could present one where a guy won an award on a god-awful team and it wouldn't happen in another sport. I don't know. I mean, how many wins does it take, David?
I have to go back to 1990 to get a 7-9 Jimmy Johnson winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah, that's
everybody else is 10 or above.
Okay,
since then.
So the barometer is they have not a worst to first season, but they have a season where would they win 4 games last year? 3?
3. And tied 1. So that's why I said 11. 11, that's that magical number.
Yeah, you're right. Since 2010, I mean,
and
there was nobody that had 10 wins that won it.
And you added an extra game as well. So now there's 17 games. So that's why I don't think 10 wins is going to get it anymore. You got to at least hit 11 or 12 wins. But, yeah, Vrabel, Stefanski, Harbaugh, Nagy, McVay, Chase and Garrett. Wow. Cowboys were
13-3.
Yeah, but you don't remember that when they tank it in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Ron, Rivera.
All right, so look, the ceiling to me, realistically, 9 wins. I could see a 6-win improvement, sure. But no, you're right. It probably doesn't go to that level. So then, okay, what? Do we have a consensus, Bill? Over 6.5 is the one we feel best about. Campbell winning Coach of the Year, second best. And Swift.
Are you bailing on Swift?
No, I'm saying
I don't feel the love.
If there's a consensus.
No consensus. You're the marquee. Step out on the stage.
Lions 1, Swift 2, Campbell 3. Campbell 3 because I don't think they'll hit the 10-win burden of proof that David has set forth. I can't use something from 1990.
See, I think if Swift were the only back, you may be on to something.
He could be. All it takes is an ankle twist. You know how this works.
Yeah, but I don't think that I think the Lions would then go out and find some retread back to bring him here.
That's true.
I don't think they want to just go full Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, you're our guy. I mean, heck, even the Cowboys don't want to do that.
Well, that's because Zeke is.
Right, but they just wanted to be Zeke. So I don't think this offense is predicated on a single back. I can't see him rushing for 1,500 yards.
No, that's a lot. But what about 1,200?
1,200 may put you in the discussion, but I think if you want to win, you're going to need at least 1,500.
How about he just is upright on Thanksgiving, and we'll go from there? Can I have that? Can I get to week 10?
Okay, either he's upright or Jameson Williams makes his debut on Thanksgiving.
See, that's another thing, and I know we're not going to go there because we have a long way to go. I can't tell you how excited I am to watch him. Jameson Williams, from an explosiveness standpoint and a speed standpoint, is as close to Tyreek Hill as you're going to get.
Well, Madden sure loves him.
What'd they do?
I think he's the second fastest rated receiver.
And again, no one's Tyreek Hill. I get it. But this guy ain't far behind. It's an explosiveness we haven't seen here since, Calvin? And different type of player, but I'm talking about explosiveness. You know, when Calvin would take those strides and basically go 10 yards per stride, you'd have to go back from an explosiveness standpoint, maybe to Javid Best.
I was going to say, yeah, he just took off and ran. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm anxious to see what they do with him. Like I said, I want to see him play. I just don't want to see – I don't want this kid's career ruined because we rushed him up here. Not to say it's the same, it's a different sport, but – how we all just said, you know what, let's just get Spencer Torkelson in the games and we'll just let life figure it out.